win for LGD, but BLG, they need to strike back defensively for themselves and their fan base.
Syndra banned, prep for a potential Orianna. The Orianna gets banned and Vi's left open, so BLG will snap that right out. Now, Poppy is available, and some teams have been banning it to cover for the Vi. I'm not sure how well Poppy does in the jungle with the changes. Again, she's more of a tank. Not that you can't play that, but less dueling potential into the Vi. Rumble going to be the option here for Burdol. Now that the Ambessa has been taken away, you really only have Galio, Yorick left into the Rumble. Other than that, Burdol should have a pretty easy time, and it will be the changed Poppy. I'm interested to see what the build is going to be, because I assume it will be more of a tank focus, so a lot less AD damage. We're going to need that somewhere else from LGD, but Ashe Seraphine, we were talking about this in the pre-show. BLG snapping it up.
I do want to call back to the last time that these two teams faced off against each other. The Rumble in the top lane for LGD was counterpicked by an Aurora for BLG. Now, obviously, BLG were with a different top laner at the time, so as to whether Bin shares Wenbo's confidence on that champion, I am uncertain in this split, in this matchup, but the Yone locked in for LGD is yet another champion to consider here, as that. And now you're like, well, do I answer the Rumble? Do I answer the Yone? What exactly is going on here?
I think Tangyuan is saying, guys, look at what I just did on the Kali. Just give me another champion that's in a similar vein, and locks in the Yone. I mean, my mind goes towards Cream's Yone the other day. That was disgusting in a good way. He looked incredible on that pick. And now BLG gets a cover ban for supports here. Most likely going to have to go some kind of tank in the top lane. Again, maybe the Yorick gets let through, but I'm really not a fan of the Yorick in general. I much prefer the team fighting style. A Scion or an Ornn or a Galio would look great there. Galio, probably the worst one of those, because you're against the Yone. It's only a Rumble so far. Mid lane bans here for LGD. Most likely going to be their AD carry, save support for... Or actually, it could be just something like a hook champion here. I could see... Okay, just the Virus. I like the Jhin better. I'm going to be straight up. Not a fan of the Virus with the poke build. No one is going on hit Virus. Don't love it. I like the Jhin. Pairs well with a lot of the engaged supports. You can go Leona, you can go Rel, you can go Alistar. Leaves it very open in the bot lane.
Again, last time that LGD picked this up, it was with the Seraphine, so missing out on that combination in this particular matchup, but they chose not to ban away the Aurora. LGD know full well that last time that was the counter into Rumble top. BLG know it as well. Do they actually have the confidence to lock it in? It looks good on paper. Will it look good in Bin's hands?
It is also a flex. Can go towards the mid lane. Looks like it will be. I'm a fan of the Aurora top. Something teams are playing in the past, but looks like just going to be the Cassante here for Bin, and it's not bad. The team kind of needs that front line. I mentioned Sion and Ornn. Forgot about the Cassante. And can find solo kills, can find good angles, does decently well, but Poppy's great into Cassante. There's the rel I was talking about. Cassante can't really get to Jhin and does struggle against Yone. So I think that BLG's draft is good. I like Ashe Seraphine. I love Vi, but LGD just have that flair to it. I like the new Poppy. I'm excited to see what that does, and I think it's great this draft. I think Jhin is really strong right now. Yone the same, and having that pop-off potential on Tangyuan again, it's got me... No. Did they just swap? Oh!
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of this. Last second swap to get the Yone into Cassante matchup will be a lot harder for Ben to play. Tangyuan, this time on the Rumble. Now, player names, I don't know if I like this as much, but for the draft, it is very exciting.
And this continues to double down on exactly the same strategy that LGD had in Game 1. Make the game as difficult for Bin as possible. Though he may not be a new top laner, Bin is the most vulnerable piece, the least practiced piece of the BLG roster right now, and LGD, at least in the draft, have shown that they are willing to attack that relentlessly, even at the cost of swapping Tangyuan into a counter matchup. Now, did BLG anticipate this by putting the Aurora in mid lane? I think there's a fair argument to say that they did, or at least acknowledging that it was a possibility and that Aurora was going to have a good time either way. They've arguably come out the better in that matchup, but will LGD, with this swap, find the advantage and the kill that they're looking for?
It looks like this is Tangyuan's first ever Rumble game on stage, which is pretty exciting, but this invade from BLG should work.
Hung went on the invade last time. This time is getting invaded and killed.
He's just dead.
Why did he just stand there? Did his computer crash?
I mean, I think he was just CC chained into oblivion. He would have had it's probably, it's E start on. So it was like Vault Breaker, and then slow from Viper's autos, and then the stun from on. Or the root from on, I guess I should say.
He dies with flash up. What is
Heng's not going to be very happy about that. That's a really bad start.
Well, that is certainly the kill that BLG were hoping for in this game. They have drafted and played their 1 minute to screw LGD over in the most definitive way possible. Their jungler not going to be able to play the game for a couple of minutes now. But remember that the top lane is where LGD need to win, and Burdol at least seems to be having a pretty good time of it. Bin on K'Sante. It's never going to look like he's having a good time. But as long as he doesn't die, K'Sante's happy.
Yeah, this is not going to be a super fun matchup, and it isn't really going to get any better. I'm sure K'Sante champion going to be able to find some all-in angles. This hawk shot is perfect.
Even though it gets spotted, though, I don't know if it can be stopped. On likely dead. Just going to try and deny the assist from Heng by making it underneath the tower. Poppy not going to get anything. Heng denied value for his time, but still a kill going over to LGD. A win for them.
Very nice. Oh, okay. Been a while since we've seen the Yone top. Something that's been rising up in solo queue as well. So it doesn't have too bad a win rate. Really good time from the hawk shot, to be honest, but wasn't able to help him in any way. Viper gets the cleanse and then, uses the cleanse and then ends up getting out, but Shaoye with that early kill. I mean, Shun's gold lead is pretty scary. I don't think that Vi is the strongest late game threat, so the mid game is really where you're scared about Vi. Getting that ult online early can be she's a full level up. Going for this Raptors invade too. Crisp is trying to cover.
Heng is here as well, so as Crisp gets the stun, Heng should be able to slam Shun into the wall, but a nice flash from Shun does get him out of that flash from Tangyuan though to finish him off, and the Vi, who started the game so well, now goes down early and on, only level 2, likely going to go down here as well. BLG are trying to get the most value possible for their time, but they overextend and lose a huge advantage.
Yeah, some overstepping there. Tangyuan has the prio because he's closer. He doesn't even, he just kind of drops the wave. We're going back in mid here. Knight has flash. They should be completely fine. But Crisp rotating in to the Raptors, getting the flash out of Shun. I mean, that's basically completely even the game back up. Jungle lead can be scary with the XP, sure. But the catch-up potential in the game right now is so much that you're never really that far behind on jungle. It's really hard to get a massive lead in jungle. The XP will still be there for sure. But after Scuttle Crab and that's unfortunate. And Heng's top side, he should be pretty close within touching distance of at least most of that.
And at least he's not playing something like Lee Sin or Neferi, right? Heng, yeah, he wants to be relevant, but this is sort of like when you're losing on Malphite in the top lane. You're like, okay, that's fine, because later I'm just going to press R. Heng has a few more buttons to press than just the ult, but Poppy's there for the utility. As long as Burdol, as long as Tangyuan and Shaoye are not massively behind, and even better if they're ahead, Heng's feeling fine about his chances because it's just his job to enable them.
Not really a ton of games on Masters Plus for Poppy builds. Only like 1,000 games, so very low pick rate. So the build probably isn't correct. So I'm interested to see where Heng does go to, or what Heng does go towards, whether it is going to be the more tanky focus, or whether he's just going to say, screw it, I'm going like nerfed Sundered Sky anyway. I don't think that he'll do that, but we'll see what happens. Dragon's up. BLG bot lane still winning like last game. Burdol hasn't found a huge advantage just yet. Just this small lead for Shun. LGD are doing a really good job in this series of keeping the game close, basically no matter what's happening. I think that in game 1 they did that really well, and after that terrible start to this game 2, LGD and Heng specifically have done a really good job of keeping the game even, and I don't think Heng wants to give over this dragon at all. He's run so far to stop Shun taking it.
Don't know if he's going to be able to. On and Viper have priority to rotate up. Heng does find a slam into the wall, does not find the smite, but LGD look for the fight immediately after. Heng low, being chased down by Knight, and Shun gonna flash up the wall, while Chris forces the flash out of Viper. On, getting chased down by Tangyuan on this Rumble, ready to incinerate, and Shun in his line of fire once again is gonna get burned to a crisp. Double kill picked up for Tangyuan, and Knight in the pit does have an easy way out. Nobody's gonna focus that. Viper gets out underneath the tower, and LGD win the fight. They're going to look for a little more. Knight slammed into the wall. They actually could kill him here. Flash from Crisp as well to secure the kill. And Tangyuan picks up another. That's 3 kills for Tangyuan in the river. 6 minutes into this game. The Rumble is massive.
Yeah, just a really winning position out of almost nowhere. Heng runs so far to get to this dragon. Doesn't get the smite. That's kind of it. The equalizer is great. Zones away Viper on and Knight for a little bit, and Viper and On have to stay away. Then Heng flashes away, get Viper's flash, and then Tangyuan is just so massive. Great fight from Shaoye away from the Vault Breaker, and these deadly flourishes alongside the Jhin Rumble combo. Normally you see the top lane Rumble, but Jhin Rumble is so scary. Really nice Hex Flash from Heng, another deadly flourish as well. LGD playing so well together, and coaching staff pretty happy here. And you should be. This is a really strong position. 1k lead on this Rumble. Completely alleviated these early game worries.
I mean, JBetto, turn off the nameplates here. Like, we could show this to most fans, even who don't watch the LPL and tune in just to watch the BLG games. If we turn off the nameplates right now, there's no way that people are getting this right 9 out of 10 times. LGD look fantastic in this early game, despite having Heng set behind early. And now they're going to be able to pick up the Void Grubs as well. This is uncontested. This is on vision, granted. But LGD are making a strong argument for a 2-0 against the strongest team in the league.
Yeah, I don't think that BLG are making unforced mistakes by any means. I think that LGD are genuinely playing a really good game. The comeback from the start was great. That fight was really well played with the equalizer and Shaoye's deadly flourishes. I think Heng has been playing pretty well on this Poppy so far. Tangyuan's gonna get found, but who's finding who?
Yeah, I'm not sure who's getting the smoke here. Flash away from Tangyuan. Crisp is on the way, but is going to get stunned. Unable to help his mid laner, so a shutdown going to Shun. Heng would really like to punish that, and Crisp certainly happy to help him. Going to give this kill over to Shaoye. Ultimately, the 1-for-1 still pretty good for LGD, but Shun getting a shutdown is a nice bonus to the BLG roster.
The Sundered Sky online is nice, but giving a kill over to Shaoye feels pretty good, especially when he's going he's not actually going Collector. This is a discussion that I'm really interested in, actually. The resurgence of the Collector build on Caitlyn and Jhin, and Shaoye not going that, not going towards Ghostblade, and also no lethality, which I'm a big fan of. Curtains open. I don't think this is a kill. So, yeah. And also not going towards the Hex Optics. He's going either... he's not going Yuntal. I'm so stupid. It's going to be Stormrazor. Terrible build path, giving him a kill, getting closer to that BF sword is really nice. And again, the deadly flourish that's coming out of Shaoye, very impressive so far. I think this is a great pick in the comp. The one quiet part of the map has been top, and Burdol quietly winning a little bit of CS up, has just some pieces, so he's probably sitting on quite a decent amount of gold here. Actually, no, he did just base. I guess Iceborne Gauntlet, very cheap.
I really appreciate that you want to give Burdol credit. We can just say he's even. He's doing fine.
Man, 50 gold. He's something.
You're right.
I would like if it was more. I really, really would. I hope this lane gets better. Wait, all right. Let's stop talking about Burdol. Let's stop talking about him.
Yeah.
Turn the camera away.
When he picks up Bork, we can talk about him again. How about that?
Yeah, because we talk about it's nothing is happening in top. We talk about him, camera pans top. They just knew we were talking about him, and then he instantly has to flash away. Sleeve it to the bot side of the map. LGD are looking pretty good down here. We'll come back up in top when it's Burdol. You tell us when to look, okay?
Yeah. Ben gonna try and control that narrative, I'm sure. Very frustrating to come back to the LPL and have your opposite number take the MVP in game one. But we return to the Dragon, where BLG were uncomfortable last time. Look to be a little uncomfortable again. Shun does not get stunned into the wall, but gets stunned 3 billion other ways. Shaoye gonna pick up the kill, and LGD, having slain the jungler, now have free reign to do whatever they want. They can let the Dragon reset, they can continue the fight, and it looks like they are gonna take the first option, moving back down to the bot lane. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, more kills for LGD. They deny the Dragon, and this pick comp is so scary for BLG to play. They do have a tank, which will be nice later to kind of stop this from happening, but right now, Shun up, gold, doesn't matter. The tag comes through, the deadly flourish comes through. Again, another really nice find from Shaoye there, and then the equalizer on top. Viper just finished his quest, so got a big chunk of gold. That's why Shaoye down a bit of gold from where he was at, as the CS advantage is pretty big for Viper, despite the 3 kills from Shaoye. And now it's going to TP. We will eventually lose this Dragon, so it'll be 2 Dragons to BLG. Gold advantage of LGD, but BLG have the Dragon advantage. It's a Cloud Soul this game, which is very scary too, so BLG feeling pretty happy about their position on objectives.
Yeah, I mean, does this mean anything right now? BLG, yes, they've got the first 2 Dragons. LGD, not even really able to stall. Do LGD win the scaling game? Right now, I'm not even sure they win the 1v1, as Burdol still drops the exhaust. Bork incomplete. Flash slam into the wall from Heng is going to kill Bin, though. LGD give their top laner a little TLC.
I would say, answer your question, Yone Jin, I would say they absolutely outscale. In terms of damage, at least, like Ashe Seraphine, it's scary. Aurora does a lot of burst, but we have seriously good engage as we're watching. I think that BLG, the Cloud Soul, is important to help kite them in and out of the fights. Obviously, the 2 Dragons right now don't really mean anything, for sure. And Tangyuan is still at 1k gold. Bin is not having the best time in this series. That one wasn't really his fault, but I think BLG are happy about their Dragon position. But yeah, I think that the damage late game from Jin, Yone, and then we've already been seeing it with the skirmish fights with the equalizer. That doesn't ever get outscaled by anything. You're always able to do that. Equalizer's only going to get stronger. And Ashe is a pretty prime target. Does have cleanse, but there is so much CC to layer onto her.
A lot for BLG to be wary of. Burdol, one of those things, and Shun shows it. Popping down to the bottom side of the map, seeing if he can get a free kill on an overextending Burdol, and he cannot. Burdol very safe with the soul unbound and going to go for a trade again. Bin not so confident in winning this one now that Bork is completed for Burdol. He actually has a fighting chance of winning this, and certainly is. Half HP on Bin. BLG going to make their mission impossible towards the top side.
Yeah, it seems like a fun matchup there. Bin hits everything and does 0 damage to Burdol, who hits a few Qs and some autos and Bin is half HP with full armor. So not the best position to be in, but like you said, BLG going for this Herald. I don't know if LGD are going to let that happen.
Here comes the teleport. Signs point to no. Heng finds a double knock-up. Flash and the Encore and the Root deletes Heng instantly, though. And with Bin teleporting in, plenty of HP to get melted through by LGD. At least the Rift Herald will go over to them. Burdol's in the back line, though. He's going to get ulted and ultimately taken down by BLG as LGD looks to continue the fight. Shaoye picks up the kill. Tangyuan goes golden. Shun needs to kill this AD carry and cannot. LGD managed to take the fight, lose the Herald, and I think they're all right.
Hold on.
No, Shaoye's dead.
He's dead.
Shaoye's alive.
Movement! Oh! So close.
Should have been.
Yeah, a lot closer than it could have and probably should have been. Pretty well played there from Shaoye, but looking back at this fight, Heng goes pretty early. Not really any damage there just yet. Dashes in, ults, and then you can see immediately he's like, oh, I need to get out of here. Really nice flash from On to reposition the Encore, but the Equalizer again is good. Chunks down On, makes Shun have to stay forwards. He doesn't want to walk over it. Bin gets melted. And even though Burdol does die, he does so much damage that this makes this fight even. Yes, the Herald does go over to BLG. But LGD finding fight back in these team fights. Tangyuan under fire underneath his tier 1 turret. Should be able to at least get away and then probably lose this turret in top lane. Doesn't have the Equalizer, so won't be able to clear the way, but he's 10 seconds away. That's a bit unfortunate. TP in bot lane. I think Burdol's just
They're
okay.
so unbound, and there's no backup on the way here. Burdol would have to play absolutely perfectly to live there, and he does not have the opportunity to. Does keep his flash and exhaust, I believe, which is nice. He knows he's dead. He can take the 1v1 later.
BLG keeping the game close, getting some gold on Knight with that kill. And the gold is largely irrelevant. You know, 1k on Vi, that can be scary when she gets this second item online, but for the most part, fairly unimpactful. It's going to come down to these objectives and the objective fighting. BLG start the dragon up first. Heng does have ult, but Burdol, no TP. Probably won't be able to join. So this is Cloud Soul Point going over for nothing.
Concerning for LGD to have lost that. I'm trying to situate myself in this game off that last fight. All things seemed even in it, and with the Cloud Soul Point going over, BLG should be the team that we're looking at and going, they have the advantage. I think the results of Game 1 are skewing my perspective here, making me think, oh no, BLG, you know, they're still going to get outscaled. This is still rough, but at least as of right now, both we and LGD, I think, should be on the same page that BLG are very strong, very scary, and could easily win this game unless LGD do something about it.
They're trying to. Herald summoned.
Ult going to connect from On. That is a dead Heng. Nobody there to back him up, and now Shun does commit towards the front lines. Ends up popping into the Rift Herald as well. Still numbers advantage. He's looking for the knockups and the crash into the turret. He's only going to get one as Tangyuan shows up to the fight.
Oh!
Equalizer right on top of On is going to melt this Seraphine. Tangyuan still ready with the Flame Spitter as well. LGD have managed to manufacture a winning team fight out of a numbers disadvantage. Largely credit to the Equalizer.
Yeah, engaged from Crisp and Tangyuan
Flash
goes forward.
crazy.
Gets the cleanse out of Viper. I think Burdol and Crisp, they're together linking up quite nicely, but Heng's found some good stuns in the early game, but as we've cruxed into this mid game, Not the best angle, I'll say here. Dashes forward, doesn't hit a wall, and then just dies after the CC chain comes through. It's not Tank Poppy, it is the Standard Sky, and this version of Poppy isn't as good as it was. Tangyuan just does On's entire health bar, and then the engage on the left here. Curtain Call active. Rel Yone together looks really nice, and like you say, they did manufacture slightly more winning position here, get the cleanse at a Viper too, which feels nice. They are down Cloud Soul Point though. Burdol has the gold lead for his team and keeping the gold even, or close to even at least. He's going to need to do some pretty good things in the late game on this Yone if his wants to win this fight. Wants to win this game. Shaoye, I'm a big fan of you now because -1. That's unfortunate, but I'm a big anti-lethality Jhin person, and against K'Sante, it's Storm Razor LDR. Now that is a build that I can get on board with.
And he is a player that quietly has been having a very good game. Shaoye has been enabling the team fantastically, 4-1-7 right now. And he may still be behind to Viper, but I've seen a lot of games play out with Jhin on them, more than the meta would dictate. And there is a significant likelihood that we see this Jhin just become unstoppable as the game goes on, with the amount of focus that is dedicated elsewhere. That was a quick kill. It was so quick that I didn't really want to pivot to talk about it in the middle of the.
Is this actually happening? Another jungle catch and LGD go towards the Baron. I mean, that's your 1.6k lead jungler. The rest of LGD are ahead in terms of gold, mostly.
We've seen LGD throw these. Crisp over the wall is going to be the one, if anything, to look for the engage. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out again onto Heng, and again, Encore is going to connect. However, with Bin now in the middle of LGD, they managed to at least eliminate him. That is now a big numbers advantage for LGD, who continue the Baron and the fight at the same time. Knight, unable to do much, is going to get stunned up twice, thrice, and deletes 2 people. Knight claws a winning team fight back, but as the Baron goes over to LGD, will they even be able to escape with it? Shun's back in the fight. Heng's running for dear life, and he might be the only one to escape as Tangyuan rockets past him with the teleport. 2 Barons will make it out, but BLG do manage to win the fight.
Definitely not the Baron you would have wanted, considering that Burdol's going to be dead when this dragon spawns, and it is Cloud Soul. Shaoye, I like the position, and but he does just get one shot by Knight, and because his damage isn't on the Baron, it just goes so much slower than it would have before. Bin just dies. Knight finding this kill on the Shaoye is so important for the game here, so we might need to drop that. Burdol's up in 2, does have TP.
Dragon's burning fast here. Nobody gets kicked out. Heng's gonna have to go for the smite fight on it. He does not secure it. BLG managed to get the soul. They can get out now, even leaving Bin. But do they want to commit to the fight? Viper certainly does. He's walking up to it, and Tangyuan gets deleted. Burdol looks for Bin in the river, but he's not able to find him. And Viper should be able to chase the rest of the team down. Knight opens things up with the Between Worlds, slows landing. Shun even connecting onto Crisp, and it'll be another pick going over onto BLG. Burdol looks for an entry into the back line and gets eviscerated. Heng is the last Baron left standing from previously, but LGD have lost everything else. 2 fights in a row. Is it too much to lose?
And Tangyuan's had a great game on the Rumble so far, but I'm starting to think, was this swap worth it? 1k lead and doesn't really do a whole lot in the fight. Heng misses the ult, loses the smite fight. Tangyuan taken down super early in the fight, and BLG play very slow as they chase out. They have the Cloud Soul, and they're not going to overstate too much. They're not going to go for the inhibitor. They're not going to go for any more kills. They know how strong the position they're in is. And LGD, they were in a great position in this game, but no longer so. 5,000 gold, the gold lead for BLG. And I am left thinking Burdol just isn't providing enough on this Yone in these fights.
Yeah. He has been the big question mark, and I mean more question mark ping than point of wonder for us. Burdol on Yone, now 2 items deep, working on his 3rd. I keep believing in the pop-off. We know how powerful of a champion Yone is, but in these last 2 critical fights has really not been able to provide any value. A lot of that coming from Crisp and his engages, and even now Crisp caught in the river momentarily. Soul is over to BLG. We've got 4 minutes until the Elder, where we could see LGD flip the game once again.
We could be farming, but no. We are going to 5v5 for this crab. We'll go over to LGD, I believe. Yes, that's right. And now, this is the classic LPL that I feel like I've seen so many times recently. Nothing happens on the map, and we could probably be side laning, but instead, we're going to A around, we're going to 5v5 and in mid when no objectives are up. LGD are split, though, so they do need to be a little bit careful about... Okay, we'll get that. About taking any fights, because BLG are a lot more grouped up and will win the fight here. Shun spotted by the captive audience. Bit of an interesting ability name. I have to say, Jhin has the best ability names, in my opinion. But that one is a weird one, for sure. It's very cool.
The weird thing is that if they just swapped Deadly Flourish and Captive Audience name-wise, everything would make sense.
I feel like
Deadly
it would.
Flourish being the flower,
yes,
just better. No stun at the wall. Knight's going to get out of this. Credit to Heng for looking for the play. LGD do need gold, and that can come in the form of champions as well.
Deadly Flourish is probably my favorite ability name. It is very cool, but I do agree. It being on the flower would make sense.
Audience, you know?
Also, like, because you can put down multiple captive audiences, how many audiences are there? And they're all captivated by Jin's performance. He's got 4 kills, pretty lore accurate Jin so far.
True.
But he would need to get 0 more. So maybe not what LGD want there. Going for the lore accurate Jin performance.
I'm trying to think if he can get like some sort of multiple of 4 and something. Like if he could go 4, 2, and 12, I think he'd be happy.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
He's won too many for the 8, so he does need another 3.
Point blank ult is crazy.
That is a lot of damage.
Heng dying to it would be even crazier, so flash away and a sidestep. Very worth it for Heng to hold on to his life, especially with 30 seconds to the Baron.
You can see how squishy Heng is in this game, and Viper's doing a ton of damage. Not the Runins build that I was talking about a little bit earlier in the stream, but still doing so much on this Ashe. Yeah, I'm not saying it needed to be full tank Poppy, but I'm really not super convinced by this build. This is the build that the solo queue guides told me was what you go on Jungle Poppy, but very small sample size. I'm not convinced. I think that you have enough AD. You don't really need any more. I would probably prefer a little bit more of a tanky Poppy in this game to actually live. Maybe get a Randuin's for this Ashe, as they will struggle on the tank front. You can see right here, they are struggling to walk in and get vision.
Bin certainly isn't. For all that he struggled in game 1, Bin is the big tanky boy in this one and gets to play frontline. Heng, big Hex Splash enjoyer. He's going to continue popping those. He's found some crazy value out of them up until now, but he's going to need to get really crazy with it around the Baron. The BLG have just started. LGD trying to make their way into the river. Tangyuan still has Equalizer available. Baron half HP.
Now looking for this turn here, actually. The arrow comes out. Got to keep his eye on the keeper's verdict for Heng. Here it is. Miss again.
Knight with the Between Worlds can't go over the wall. Encore is going to connect. BLG do get the Baron, and they get out. The rest of LGD not really able to follow up on this, and Bin going to be safe even from the 4th shot. That is a very tanky boy. However, they have to reset, and the Elder Dragon is up. LGD making a beeline straight for that objective, with the exception of Tangyuan, who is Equalizer-less, who is sticking around top lane and doing the freaking what?
Maybe he has Shadow Flame in base. That would make sense, and then gets the TP in here with this item completion. That's the only reason I would assume, but no keeper's verdict is huge for this fight, and he won't have it. Hoppy's going to be a significant advantage. Just look at the ults for BLG. I mean, yeah, they're missing the bot lane ult, but they have a cease and desist.
Halfway up cooldown on this equalizer. Crisp has got to get out from between worlds. So does Heng, but he's not so lucky. Heng is going to be taken down by Knight. BLG find another pick. They've got Baron. They've got Elder Dragon behind them. The BLG are focused forward. Their instincts on kill as LGD forced to retreat back to the base. Though LGD started this game well, BLG have taken firm control in the mid game, and 30 minutes in, they're looking for a little bit more than just an Elder. They are looking to fish for the end of the game. Burdol going to deny that from the side. Still very low impact on this Yone, and still sitting on the same item breakpoints that he was around Cloud Soul. This is a poverty wage level Yone right now, who has had no impact and doesn't look like he's going to be having one in the next few minutes.
Yeah, On has the Encore and Flash. Keep your eye on that. Massive engage potential in LGD. The Elder is burning fast. Tangyuan has Equalizer up, but the Elder's already gone. They just have to watch, and honestly, maybe even watch as the game just ends.
That guy should be dead. Flash Encore brings him right back. Soul Unbound was always going to do it anyway. BLG pick up the pick. And now Shun, who has ult, mind you, can guarantee the death of at least one other person. This looks like the end of the game in favor of BLG. This best of three gonna go the distance, as BLG have an unquestionable, certainly undeniable advantage. Tangyuan's got the equalizer back up, but I don't think you can equalize this, JBetto.
And maybe you could get the wave. Nice flash out from Shaoye to avoid the damage, but here the next wave's in. You could maybe put equalizer on Viper.
Get GA'd. Will Viper still alive and still firing as Tangyuan gets executed as well. Double kill for Viper, and BLG are having a little bit of fun with a game that they have stacked up in their favor from the beginning. We saw LGD with a really good start in this game, but BLG got dragon after dragon after dragon, and it is so appropriate that they end this on an Elder.
Yeah, not super impressed with the top side of LGD, to be completely honest. The Yone was largely unimpactful. Heng had some good stuns early, linking up with Shaoye and the deadly flourishes, but after that, going in too early, dying, and those keepers' verdicts were really not it around objectives. He didn't hit a single knockaway to get an objective or even look to get an objective. I think the Tangyuan, Shaoye, and Crisp had a good game, but they were really struggling. And for BLG, not the best early game, sure, but really came back in it. I think that Viper did so much in terms of damage, and even though Shun was taken down a couple of times from going too far forward, they just had a more solid front line with this Cassante in tow, and a lot of damage with the Aurora and the Ashe.
Yeah, the Ashe and Seraphine lane also went really well. I think On performed fantastically in this game. Had a couple of really, really good encores that set the team up for success, especially around objectives. He was able to, unfortunately for Heng, use him as the initial extension for many of those that just let BLG continue walking forward, even at the end. The Flash Encore being the thing to secure the first kill, the first pickup onto Burdol. BLG do look like a very different team this time around, although worth saying that LGD's early and mid game still very good. That was a 4-0 Rumble at one point. A lot of teams are able to convert that into a win. LGD v BLG, they're not, but there is absolutely a world where LGD were able to win this game. They put themselves in the position to do it. They weren't able to close it out, and that's on them.
Yeah, that Baron really hurt them. Also, losing those early Drakes, needing to give over Soul Point, really put them in a dire position. But yeah, that Baron, I mean, they find the pick on Shun, and it looks great, but I'm sure that it can be played a little differently, whether it's a turn together, whether Tangyuan, whether Shaoye needs to be hitting on the Jin, if he can live, if there was a little bit more damage. It's a very close Baron, and the game could look a whole lot different if LGD can get 5 Barons there and walk away. Yep. I think that Knight and Viper kind of put the game on their back a little bit, especially Viper, and just said, I am winning this game. I don't think again, that Burdol and Heng had the best game in this second game, but Viper most certainly did.
Yeah. Viper looked really good. And, you remember the Baron fight where Knight blew up 2 people. That was a big turning point, and Knight certainly looking very good on the Aurora, as you would expect. You've seen Knight throughout the majority of this season. He has always been a terrifying player, and there's a reason why we are considering him for All-Pro. However, our All-Pro nomination at the very beginning, Shun, not so clean of a game. Still able to get some value out of the Vi, but was just plug-and-play frontliner. Granted, got a lot more value than Heng, but even so, on the Vi, I would say an underwhelming performance from a player that I was considering for an All-Pro nomination.
This is the fight where, you can make an argument that Heng is trying to keep BLG interested, but no one's there. He just dies, and his team has to salvage this fight, and they very nearly don't do that. I think quite a few times, in fact, there's another one I'm sure we'll see where Heng is looking for the Seraphine in mid. I get the angle. Going for the dash when you know that it's not hitting is really not this one. That's never hitting a wall. Even if you do, is on dead there? Probably not. Another one where you're just caught instantly by the Encore and die. Before the fight even starts, I think that Heng put his team in some really difficult positions, and this is kind of the only fight that I think Burdol played well, where he was able to sync up. He actually misses the Q3 there off of Rel's engage, which is not great. So maybe not even this fight. Not super impressed with the top side from LGD, even after I think Burdol had a really good game 1. This is the Baron that I think really costed
what is he
LG
doing?
The game.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Not really the best from Burdol.
It's all good. It's all good. To be fair, our call at the end of game 1 was the outplay champion and the champion that you get to turn your brain off with. Yone is not an Olaf. Your brain has to be very on to turn it a good Yone, a fed Yone, into one that is actually winning the game. Burdol wasn't even that fed. He was okay. And it takes a lot more effort to get value out of the champion. I think it is an unfortunate miss from LGD off of a game that they were initially doing well in, and I'm very curious now what they do from here, because we will be going to game 3, and BLG, they looked fantastic as they clawed this second game win back from an LGD that were doing well. Now LGD have to do the same. And they are in a much rougher position, being the less experienced team in series like this, against teams like this. BLG should be able to close this out again. On paper, this just looks like the right team to do it. And yet I don't want to count LGD out, because they have had 2 really good starts.
Yeah, I think the early games is the place to start for LGD. As long as you cannot get invaded level 1 again and die, I think their early games have been good. For the most part, their laning has been pretty strong. BLG's bot lane has been pushing, so maybe that's somewhere that you want to target as LGD. Get a really strong bot matchup and try to get a lead through there. Shut down Viper. As player of... Yeah, this is what I think we're all leading to. No, I had some good plays too, but Viper did do really well, and I think that shutting him down is really important in this series. He's been kind of unleashed the entire time. In game 1, I still think he looked really good on the Caitlyn, just didn't quite get it in the last fight. Didn't quite get there in terms of full build. Top lane's been looking good in terms of laning at least. Mid lane has been great. Tangyuan has had an amazing series so far, despite him not being impactful in terms of priority on the Akali in the mid game. He had some solo kills. He had a solo kill on Knight, that great play at the end, and then the Rumble was amazing. So I think for LGD, look towards Tangyuan and try to shut down the bot lane. For BLG, we need to see some better early games, because it hasn't been super pretty outside of bot lane.
Yeah, I absolutely agreed. LGD, They certainly got points of strength here. Tangyuan won, Shaoye playing that game really well. Crisp, some great engages. It's not that LGD can't win this series, but it's a mountain. And never was that more evident than in the back half of Game 2. BLG taking this to a 3-game series. We'll find out if BLG strike